I know folks enjoy eating in Hampton Roads with great restaurants like the Kitchen at Powhatan and great chefs like Julia Fitchett, who's back. Her brother Cliff is kind of lurking around here. You may jump in and help us if need be. But you're making something that I always assumed was a difficult thing to make, and you're telling me that it's not.
Very simple. Yeah, we're going to make roasted butternut squash soup.
Okay.
Which is, butternut squash is like a winter squash, of course. It's pretty similar to a pumpkin. In consistency, it's kind of sweet, nutty flavor. So what we're going to do is I took the ends off so it'd be easier so I don't cut my hand off here.
Yes. Julie asked if I wanted to help this morning, and I said I would do whatever
Stay away
she
from
asked,
the
but I
knives.
was not, confident with the knife, just because these are kind of tough. This may be the hardest part of making the soup, is just cutting the squash in half.
They're pretty hard, so I'm going to even make it a little
Oh,
bit
that's smart. Okay, so
easier to work with here.
That's smart. Now, can you do this with other kinds of squash? I know it wouldn't be called butternut squash soup if you use, say, an acorn squash, but are all things equal, or are all squashes good for making soups?
Yeah, you can make any kind of soup.
Pumpkin?
Soup is so easy to make. You can make it out of anything you want.
Okay.
You want to clean out the fridge.
This is my job.
Yes,
I don't get the knife, I get the spoon.
To scoop
Just scoop the goop. Okay, I'll put it right in the trash can.
Yeah, it's just trash.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do, we're going to coat it in some oil and roast it in the oven.
And what are the other ingredients that you've got over there? I noticed the green
we
onion.
have some cinnamon, some white pepper, some sea salt, some whole butter, sugar, and scallions, a little truffle oil. And this is a little blended oil just to toss the squash in so we can roast it in the oven.
The seeds are flying all over the kitchen. All right. I know this is supposed to be the easy part.
There you go.
So is this on the fall menu right now at the Kitchen?
Yes, actually we just put it on the menu last week. And we've sold quite a bit.
Okay. How's that? Is that good? That scooped out enough?
Perfect.
It is just like a pumpkin that way. Okay. And you're
Yeah,
putting
it
it
is
with
like a pumpkin.
with the skin up.
Yeah, just it'll keep this nice and orange instead of discoloring it.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because the skin is going to get a little discolored when we roast it.
Now,
and then we're going to peel that off.
Now, if somebody was just going to be serving this squash as just kind of mashed with their Thanksgiving dinner, would you still recommend roasting it in the skin? Because I can remember my mom struggling to peel this whole thing raw and then cutting it into chunks. You can.
It's just very hard to deal with when it's raw. It's so hard.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of a good tip.
But
you might want to cook it first.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. Not that I'm going to call my mom and tell her she's been doing it wrong.
No. Actually, some recipes, it depends. Everyone has their own preference.
Yeah.
But to me, it's much easier to work with after it's roasted and soft.
I don't think so. Okay. And then what's that? You may have already said
it, but
sea salt?
It's just a little oil, a little sea salt, and a little white pepper.
Okay. And how long does that have to stay in the oven?
Probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So until it's tender.
Okay. And you've got it. Oh, well, I was going to say 20 minutes is faster than I thought, but you got this baby at 4:50.
I cranked it up. Okay. So I know y'all are in a hurry.
Well, we've got an hour through the magic of television to get it done.
So we'll put that in there to roast.
Okie dokie. I'm going to turn on the light because I like to watch what's going on in there. All right. So you mentioned the butter and what did you say that was cinnamon?
Yeah, we have whole butter, cinnamon, sea salt, and white pepper, which we put on the squash to roast. And when we come back, we'll combine it all in the pan and put it all together and season it to taste, and then we'll be ready.
Okay.
Since we don't have a blender, I'm not going to use the blender here. I brought some pre-blended.
If you don't have a blender, can you still make this?
Yeah, you can use a blender. You can use one of the little hand ones.
A hand mixer or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Can you just do a lot of stirring?
Kind of like mashed potatoes.
Okay. All right, so it might just come out a little bit thicker, but, nice.
Yeah, well,
nice
you can add a little stock or a little more cream to thin it out a little bit.
Okay. All right. You heard it from Julia Fitchett. You can kind of do what you need to do in there to make it the consistency that you want. It is easier than I thought, and we're going to keep working on it. When we come back right now, meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler is in with the forecast for the day.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. You're doing it all wrong. Yeah, you're doing it's all wrong. Carrie, butternut squash. That's right. Okay, thanks. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
Talking to the wife?
No, her mom. I just called.
All right, we're back in the Hampton Retro Kitchen with Chef Julia Fitchett from the kitchen at Powhatan in Williamsburg this morning, making that roasted butternut squash soup with white truffle oil. If you're just joining us in the first segment, we kind of halved or quartered the butternut squash and baked in the oven at 450. You said for about 20 minutes, maybe longer. You just kind of have to touch it and see,
yeah,
right?
It's still roasting.
Okay,
right now,
but obviously much easier to work with once you've roasted it, and then you can scoop it out of the peel instead of trying to peel it raw.
Absolutely, especially if you're making soup.
Yeah. Okay, so once we do get it out of the oven, and then you kind of scoop it nice and soft out, like we've got a bowl of the roasted squash
we
right
some
here.
Pre-roasted.
Some pre-roasted squash. Okay, and then what are we going to do?
I got a little whole butter in the pan here, and we're going to add the squash.
Now you keep mentioning that it's whole butter. If somebody were looking to cut calories in this recipe, would it change the flavor if you use like a margarine or something else?
No, you can use any kind of butter or a little oil.
Okay.
And as you see, the squash has a little liquid to it.
Right.
So.
And you want that. You don't drain that?
No.
You want to keep it. Okay.
So then we'll add some heavy cream here. Of course, non-fattening, right?
That's right. It's magical in this Hampton Roadshow
That's
kitchen.
right.
All that.
Everything's low fat.
Right, exactly. Okay.
And we're going to let that cook here. We'll season it up here with a little cinnamon.
So
you can put a little nutmeg in there if you like, or cloves. I'm not a clove fan myself, but
yeah,
it's up
but
to
whatever you like.
A little bit of sugar, and we'll adjust the seasoning too.
Now, what's the sugar for?
It just butter. It just helps with the little sweetness there. Give it a little flavor.
Okay.
Butternut squash is not a very, very strong flavor.
Right.
So as you would do with sweet potatoes or something like that, you put,
you
usually put brown sugar on a sweet potato type.
I do.
It's a very similar. So
now, how long does this have to cook for?
So we cook this down, bring it to heat, to temperature, bring that cream up, and then we buzz it in the blender there until it's nice and smooth. If not, you could use a hand blender or something like you said. It would probably not be quite as smooth.
It'd be a little chunky.
A little chunkier, but that's okay too.
Okay, here comes another question. How come you're not blending it all first and then heating it up together?
Well, you can, but I want the flavors to come out, and I want the cream to come up to temperature.
Right. Okay. You could do it that way, but if you want it to come out good, do it the way Julia says.
Okay. And then you could blend it and pour it back and reheat it, and then adjust the seasoning again if you like.
You could do that all day long.
Yeah.
You back and forth with the blender and the pot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then how long before you will put it in the blender?
Just until we bring it up to temperature here.
Okay. All right.
Let's check here. Yeah, I'm horrible here. Yeah, you want to get the cream hot.
Okay. All right. We'll show you what happens after the cream comes to temperature when we come back and have more with Julia Fitchett from the kitchen at Powhatan. Alrighty, it is time back in the Hampton Retro Kitchen with Chef Julia Fitchett from the kitchen at Powhatan in Williamsburg this morning, and we've done it.
Yes,
done it.
we are ready.
Butternut squash soup with the truffle oil. Let's talk about the oil for a minute here. What is so special about the truffle oil?
Truffle oil. This is liquid gold.
I apparently don't understand, but I'm going to. Liquid gold, you say?
Yes. Take a whiff.
It is. It does smell good. It's potent.
It is. It's very delicate, and we hide that. It's very expensive. I just don't let anybody touch my truffle oil.
Well, thank you very much. I feel honored. So how much do you put in? Do you put it in? Is there any in here, or is it part of it's a topping?
We're going to do it right now.
I
drizzle a little on top.
Okay. So it's a treat. It's like the cherry on top.
It is a treat.
Let's catch people up, though, because when they last saw us, we were waiting for the cream to come to temperature, and the ingredients were all in the same pot, but they weren't in the form that they are now.
So this is the parade form.
Okay.
As we would have done in the blender.
Okay.
So now it's all parade up. We seasoned it. I add a little more salt for my liking.
Right.
And then we have it here, ready to go.
Okay. Now, I see that you serve it with some, what do you got there, some Christina?
Yes. We did grill some ciabatta bread off camera, just for a little bread, a little crunch to the soup.
You have to dip it in.
That's right. We're in the South, right?
Right.
We like bread. So we're going to drizzle a little truffle oil on here.
Mm-hmm. You're like Zorro.
This is like, oh, that's the stuff.
Right?
Some scallions there.
And you said this is on the fall menu at the kitchen at Powhatan.
Correct.
What else do you have
Yes,
cooking
it
this
is.
season?
We have quail, we have greens, collard greens, we have roasted duck, we have rack of lamb.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing a traditional turkey dinner for Thanksgiving with roasted turkey. What else do we have?
Do you fry a turkey?
We're not this year, but we have. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But this year
correct.
we're going for the old roast.
Yes.
Okay.
Many folks to feed.
All right. So if somebody wanted to add this to their Thanksgiving menu at home, it was pretty easy.
It is very
to do.
simple.
Pretty simple.
And you can do the same. I mean, potato soup. It's pretty similar. You just use potatoes instead.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't roast them, of course. You'd probably
Boil
boil
them.
them, or.
Mm-hmm.
But same concept.
But you said acorn squash, pumpkin.
Correct.
Pretty much the same process of what
Yeah.
you've done here with the butternut, where you
Exactly.
roast it in the skin, scoop it out, cream butter.
Yeah.
Or season
if
to
you
taste.
don't want, you can use a little less cream and more stock if you like it a little thinner, a little more brothier.
Yeah.
Instead of the thickness, but it's wintertime and
Yeah.
it's cold outside.
Yeah. Well, that looks gorgeous with the truffle oil, the green onions on top, and the grilled focaccia bread.
Correct.
Okay, all the ingredients, the how-to, the tips from Julie will be at
And then we'll put a
thehamptonroadshow.com.
little scallion on there for some garnish there.
Well, all right, and we'll come try it in just a little bit. Right